My name is Oliver Pickard, and I've always dreamed of building my own car, together with my aerospace engineer and rallyist dad, Andrew.
Hello.
I found the perfect project.
This is my Cox GTM.
The remains of one of only 800 made.
And that looks bad, but when you look at it from the inside, it's even worse.
Crashed, fire damaged, rusted, unrestorable. We aren't just modifying, but completely re-engineering. We aren't just bolting on parts, we are making the tools that fabricate the parts to build my dream car. Bespoke, one of one. This is Project Mosquito.
Hello,
And welcome to the workshop.
Well, in this week's video, we're going to be continuing with the footwells at the front and putting the side pieces in between the chassis.
Yeah, we need to make those.
Yeah, for the ultimate rigid chassis.
Yeah, we're going to make these approximations into an actual functional, well, semi-functional thing.
Yep.
And make some new approximations of side panels because we still need to fill in these bits of the chassis there. So that's what we're going to be doing. Let's crack on, shall we? I read my comment section every single week, and my comment section is awesome. Always full of like really nice, friendly advice and stuff like that. And I can understand sometimes when people leave comments that aren't, they're trying to leave like constructive criticism, but they let their own like boiling blood get in the way, and so they leave valid criticism in a way that's like not very good. One of the things that makes me want to leave comments like that is when I see people drill stuff in a vise. Like, they get a vise like this, they clamp something up, and they drill something like this. And it's like 9 miles away from the vise. And it's like a floppy thing, and you can see the thing bending when they're drilling it. It drives me insane. Just get a bit of wood. Get a sacrificial bit of wood, put it on there, and just drill it. It drives me nuts. I don't care. It's not my car. I don't really care, but it just drives me insane. Please, fellow YouTubers, just get a bit of wood. Please. For me. For my own, for the sake of my own blood pressure.
Okay, so because we've moved the heater across to give us more foot room, now we need to make a small panel just to repair this part here where we've moved across. So we chopped 110 mil out of this side, moved it 110 mil across. Now we've got to put a panel back in now to repair this.
And how big's your panel?
110 mil.
Shocking. One more time, how big is it?
110 mil.
Is it 110 mil?
It's 110 mil. That's about 4 3/4 inches. No, it isn't. 4 3/8.
If you're into that kind of thing.
Yep. Still need a bit more off.
So we're strategically unbead rolling now so that this side looks a bit more like this side.
This one first.
Big clamp. Do you want to pass me that bit of wood that's on the table? Yeah. Yep. No. That would have been better with a bigger bit of wood, I think.
I'll screw that one down.
I should explain why we're not using aluminium for this job, because a lot of the tube frame chassis and stuff you'll see will have aluminium panels in them, and even like monocoque cars that need a fuel cell in the back, people put an aluminium firewall in, don't they? And the reason for that is that for our use case, it would be a little bit of a false economy as far as weight savings. You see, aluminium is loads lighter for the same strength than steel. However, you've got to attach it somehow, haven't you?
Yeah.
So that means making a load of tabs and welding a load of tabs on all over your tube chassis in order to hold your panel in. And then you need to attach the aluminium panel to the tab. So then you need hardware, so like Zeus fasteners, rivets,
Hot rivets,
nuts and bolts. Yeah. And even if you put like a captive on, like you can make your tab super thick and thread it, can't you?
Yeah.
Or you can put a pot rivet on, or you can put a Zeus fastener. A Zeus fastener is an aircraft fastener for attaching panels to aircraft, like for access panels. And they're flush fit and they're lovely. But they've got a spring in them and they've got a backing and all sorts.
Yeah. So by the time you've actually got it all together, you've saved either no weight or actually added weight.
And you don't get the added rigidity that we have here with actually welding it all the way around and attaching it. So by the end of it, it's basically one piece of metal, isn't it?
Yeah. And also, because they're two dissimilar metals, steel and aluminium don't like to go together because it causes corrosion. So basically, the steel eats away at the aluminium. So then you've got to put a barrier between the two.
So there really is no benefit to aluminium. It's not stiffer, it's not lighter, it's not stronger. And in 20,000 miles time, we're not going to end up with like a rattly rivet or a rattly hardware. You know, the less hardware and the less complicated stuff you can have, the less it'll break down. You know, loads of stuff's okay in a racing car, but for a road car that's going to spend a long time on the road and a long time with resonant frequencies running through it, that stuff starts to break down and rattle, and like old racing cars are super loud, aren't they? So we wanted to come up with a road car solution, and this is it. The disadvantage is of course that there's no shiny aluminium panels for the camera, but when it's all steelated all together and it's all the same colour, it'll look absolutely superb. But I must reiterate, this is not the body colour. So Dad, we've made a decision, haven't we?
Yeah, we're not actually going to weld the tops of the footwells to the centre console. we're going to leave that for a later date.
For ease of removal.
Yeah.
And why aren't we doing that?
Well, so the more things we have welded together, the bigger it is. And because it's not finished welded yet, it's a little bit floppy. We don't want to risk damaging anything. And also the centre tunnel still needs a lot of work.
And by a lot of work, Dad means a colossal quantity of work. Not only does this seam need finish welding, but it also has radiator lines that need to live in there. 2 radiator lines, 2 fuel lines, the rear brake line, the shifter cables, the handbrake cable, the fuel lines, most of which we don't have.
Not much then.
No. So, because all that needs to learn to live in harmony inside a centre tunnel, and we don't have the tubing to make the hard lines, nor do we have the shifter. We've got a handbrake mechanism,
yeah.
But I don't have a handbrake cable because we don't have the. I've tried, for the love of me, I cannot get hold of the rear brake calipers.
Yeah. You're trying it everywhere, aren't you?
You would be amazed at the stuff I'm able to get just easily, and yet brake calipers for a Mark 7 Civic, no. I can get Type R ones. I've got Type R ones coming out my ears. Can I get standard hatchback Type 7 Civic? Nope. So we can't do any of that. So we can't do any of this. Well, we can, but we're not going to because it just makes it it makes it harder for ourselves.
Makes life more difficult.
Yes. So instead of trying to finish something that we can't finish yet, we're going to finish something that we can finish.
Yeah. Which is the bottom section here, the panel that fits in there. That stiffens the 2 tubes together, that locates them both together.
You may remember me saying in a previous video that I didn't want to put an oblique tube in to join this bit here to somewhere on here because it wasn't good enough. Well, now is the time to join, but we're joining it with a panel.
Yep.
So shall we make a panel?
Yep. Now we've got our dimple die. Not our dimple, do it again.
bead roller. So now we have a bead roller. Let's roll some beads, cut some sheet, and finish off this chassis.
Yep.
But we can't weld in the sill yet.
No.
Which is also part of the chassis. And this is the problem, right? We can't weld in the outer sills until we weld in the centre tunnel because these go over the outer sills, which also welds to the centre tunnel. So you can't finalise any of it until all of it's final. But the one thing we will be able to do is chop the end off the centre tunnel as well and pop flanges on it because our firewall ends here.
Okay.
So we will be able to put like bulkhead ends in.
Flanges,
Yeah, but that's not what I was getting. What do you call it? Footwell. The end of the footwell. There'll be a name for that I don't know.
It is, it's the bulkhead.
Is it?
Yeah.
Front firewall? Something like that.
Yeah.
So we're going to put this panel in. We'll get 2 out of that, yeah?
Yeah. And we can cut that there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Bend it, put a tab on it.
Yeah.
And the same here. We'll radius it round on both sides and bend it in, then we can weld it down there.
Yep. So the temptation with this is just to go corner to corner because we've got a bend at one end and we've got a nice hard stop at the other. That's all right, nice and simple, nice and easy. But that's not how we do things. We like to do things the most difficult way possible. Path of most resistance. And the path of most resistance, in this case, is a trellis design. Anything that you want to know about bead rolling, we are assuming has been covered over the last 200 years by the makers of bridges, trellis bridges to be more precise. Trellis bridge designs are still used today in aerospace, in chassis design, aren't they?
Even motorbikes.
Yep.
The Ducati.
Yeah, Ducati Monster. Any girder structure that you want to design, somebody's done it first. And so we're going to go all Isambard Kingdom Brunel on this mother. Right? And what we're going to use is a Pratt design. Because that's...
That's the name of the guy that invented it.
Yes, I was going to make a joke there, but yes, Pratt is the name of a guy, so I won't besmirch his honour, right? But a Pratt design basically goes up, across at 45, up, across at 45, up, across at 45. Now there is, no, not like that, it's alright, like up, across, up, down, like that. There is two sorts. There is a Pratt and I think a Howe, is it? Houe or something? Anyway, there's another one where you have there's an innie and an outie. One where the two trellises meet at a point like this, and one where the two trellises meet at a point like that. It doesn't matter which one. This bit doesn't matter. For what we're doing, we're just concentrating on that. These are our two tubes. This is our piece of steel. There's a bend at this end, there's a bend at that end, and this is why I don't draw stuff on whiteboards for videos. Let's make it in steel. Actually, I will say one of my biggest frustrations with the world of engineering, right, is if you go to an art college to learn an art, you do art and art history. If you go to college to do engineering, you don't do engineering history. And it drives me nuts. Because engineering history is awesome. So the reason why we're not doing a point, an innie or an outie, making it a Pratt or a Howe, is, I think it's Howe. If it's not Howe, I'm going to look like a right Pratt. But the reason why it's not going innie or outie in the middle is a bridge is under both tension and compression, right? Your top's in compression and your bottom's in tension, yeah? Because your weight of your roadway and everything on it is trying to pull it apart at the bottom and trying to push it together in the top. On our chassis, we've got this tube here. So your pushing together force is basically taken by this, because obviously your wheels and tyres are exerting a force upwards on your chassis, and that's then taken by this. This tube, in that respect, is kind of just along for the ride. What this tube does help is the twisting forces, and the better your chassis is at dealing with these things, the less flex that your chassis has, the better it is to tune your suspension. And by combining these two tubes together, it'll really help prevent twist, because it'll turn twisting force into forwards and backwards force, basically. And it'll prevent, in the event of an accident, the tyre trying to join me in the cabin, which is always good news, because in the event of an accident, modern suspension arms are designed to bend, which is a really good thing. A lot of people ask me about designing suspension arms and stuff now. I know I've done like 60 odd videos on chassis design and suspension design and all of that sort of thing. And I know a lot of people want to send me questions and stuff, and I try and answer as many as I can in videos. And this is a big one. Making your own arms and the reasons why I didn't, right? A lot of people, I've seen people on YouTube make suspension arms out of roll cage tubing. That's all right, but you have to ask what your point of failure is. Is your point of failure going to be your suspension mounts, or is the suspension mount going to snap, and is your wishbone going to turn into a spear and try and join you in the cabin? All modern suspension is designed to fail at the arm. right? Which is a really good thing, because that means in the event of a really bad accident, something smacks a car. In fact, you'll see it if you any sort of crashing video, you know, or picture after someone's had a bad accident, the front wheel's usually missing. Any rally car or anything like that, the front wheel's off somewhere down the road, and the car's there sat, you know, leaking coolant and stuff all over the road. But this structure here is intact, and the reason is you don't want this wheel trying to join you in the cabin. And so if you're designing your own suspension and you're at home, you're designing your own racing car, just think on. And then we go backwards. Ooh, that's a weird feeling for me. Tell me when.
Keep going. Keep going. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Stop. Hold again. Whoa.
We're a little bit off there, aren't we? A little bit off. Not bad.
Not bad though.
Just needed to come a little bit further down, which when we've got two lines in will help us centralise, won't it?
Mm-hmm. That's stiff.
Hmm?
That's super stiff.
Yeah. It's got a dimple's eye, two bead rolls in it, and a big N.
No!
We have one good clamp, and that's the really old big one. Every other clamp that we have is garbage. Someone will answer in comments being like, there's this company that makes a clamp that actually works. Unfortunately, they're 150 quid each. It's alright until you need like 16 of them.
Right, we can't clamp it.
Nope, we can't clamp it. If you're wondering about this bit here and why we haven't covered that in steel, quite simply there is absolutely no advantage to a massive plate of steel here because there's a big steel box here. So, and this stuff's like far thicker than that 1mm. So what we'll do is this will be very thin fiberglass probably, and will attach to the under tray because all it's there for is to stop crud getting stuck. So it doesn't need to be steel, and it's a little bit more weight saved. I need a taller kitchen table. People keep saying to me, yeah, you fit into it now, but in a few years when you're a bit older and you're not quite as flexible, Dad's nowhere near as flexible as me, and he fits in there just fine. But by the time we've done with this, we'll both be like this anyway, so we'll fit in there just fine. We'll be like little velociraptors from bending over for 3 years. In fact, today is the 3-year anniversary of the day when I came home with this car. It is the 3-year anniversary of the day that I bought the Mosquito. And I didn't tell anybody for ages because I was planning and figuring out what we were going to do with it and which way we were going to go with it. But yeah, this is the anniversary episode, 3 years. Not 3 years since the first video, mind you, but 3 years since the day we came home with it. Now then, this goes first one down.
Yeah. Up, down.
Down. See what I mean? So now it has to go that way. It's always worth checking. Whenever you're bending something, check your bending order. Whenever you're dimple dyeing something, check your dimple dye tools the right way around. And same goes for bead rolling. It's so easy to do without thinking. That's alright, you just have to make sure my hand's not near the table. Because we have previously done one where I was having to lift my fingers up.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm well aware that squinting is not eye protection, but I've broken my safety glasses. So if anybody has, I'd like some like really big type aviator ones, not the little skinny ones. So if anybody has any recommendations, let me know down in the comments. Because I think it's time for some really good, I think it's time for some keepers. Now I no longer work like on the sea, and I haven't for nearly half a decade. I can now have safety glasses that I don't mind dropping. So yeah, say like aviator type ones with sides preferably, because every single time I've ever got any metal in my eye has been when I've had safety glasses on and something's hit my cheek and bounced up. It's happened twice. It's no good. That was so much easier in a filler drill. If you are thinking about making a workshop in your house, you know, you've got a little garage and you want some tools and you want to know where to start with a pillar drill. Even if it's like a little tiny bench top one, they are indispensable. Oh, they're not there. We've made loads of stuff on just a tiny bench top one. They're superb. Because of how much tension is in this panel, what we're going to do is attack it from the outside first, then plug weld it, and then we might actually stitch weld it inside as well, just like we did the side panels. Side panels, inner sills.
So I've welded this on the outside and done the plug welds on the inside. And it makes like a little triangle shape, which makes it super strong. And it's super important that you don't weld, when you do a job like this, you don't weld the thing all the way along. Because if you get a crack, what will happen is the crack will continue all the way along. Whereas in this case, if one weld broke, it wouldn't affect the other welds. But it's super important. And now it just needs cleaning up.
For everyone who wants to know how much this weighs, not much. So if you're watching these videos and you're really enjoying them, make sure that you support this channel, because I don't know what's going on at YouTube, but a bunch of automotive channels last week didn't get their notifications sent until midweek. This video went up on Wednesday.
It went up on Sunday.
Sorry, it went up on Sunday. People didn't get notifications until Wednesday. Currently videos are going up on Sundays, unless you're in the future and they go up on a different day, in which case you really need to subscribe and click that bell icon. But I don't know what's happening at YouTube. Obviously changes are changing and hopefully things are fixed. But last week people didn't get notifications. Last week people didn't find out that, like, when videos had gone up. So you really need to be subscribed. You really need to click that notification bell. And if you want to support this channel, we don't have merch. We don't have a Patreon, and we don't want your money. What we want is your support. So the best thing that you can do to help us is head down. There's an arrow button down there that says share. And after you've left us a comment and you've clicked like, make sure you share these videos with your friends. Help us find more enthusiasts like you that like these videos, because we put a lot of time and effort and love into these videos for you every single week for free. And there's many free things that you can do to help us. And we really, really appreciate every single one, including the comments, don't we?
Yeah, we do. So don't forget, leave us a comment. Tell us what you think.
We reply to every single one that we have time to. So thank you all for watching. Please be awesome to each other. And we'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.